to RIoT Startup Spotlight, where we shine a light on the visionaries and disruptors who are shaping the future. I'm Jen Morgan, and today we bring you an exclusive interview with Bryan Toton, founder and CEO of Crown Biome. Hi, Bryan. To begin, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Hi, Jen. So Crown Biome was founded back in 2019 when I was in a class project. We were given a bioinformatics service provider as a sponsor for the class, and we had to come up with a new business proposal. And I had a strong background in dentistry, and I was in the engineering management program at North Carolina State University. And it really just blended together in finding a novel way to detect chronic illnesses and chronic inflammation using dental plaque as a proxy for stool collection. And so, going down that road, I actually kind of discovered that I was the only company in the space doing something like that. And so that really got me in the path of, okay, well, if no one's doing this right now, I think this is my opportunity to step in and form a new company, Crown Biome.
Okay, you said what did
Bioinformatics.
bioinformatics. What is that? Tell me more about that.
So bioinformatics is the biological information that is going to be, collecting data to be processed into information to be used. So with the configuration of AI, now we're able to process data to information a lot more streamlined, and that's from everything from diagnostics for detecting illnesses, intervention strategies to cure diseases, nutritional strategies to revamp the microbiome back to homeostasis so that we can live an improved quality of life with free from diseases.
So that's really interesting. So tell me a little bit more about your inspiration behind the company. You mentioned that in undergrad and then moving into the engineering school at NC State, that entrepreneurial drive that really sparked some interest and energy. Tell me about that, more about that pivot.
Yeah, the pivot was, just a huge inspiration from God. And even my family was kind of sidetracked of like, what is he doing? He wanted to be a dentist for so long. But I had this image in my mind. It was a biosensing capsule inside the intestinal tract. And I was just so curious of like what that was. And I wanted to figure out what exactly that it was that I could picture in my mind. And so a few years after I received that message, I was in a class and we were given a task to, just come up with a biosensing design. And so I was reading some forums on cattle ranching and I discovered that people were really curious about the health of the animal before they eat it. And so I was like, me too. Like I would love to know the health of my animal produce before I consume it. And so that is where the biosensing capsule design Copernicus came to be birthed. And so that was the onset of my engineering discipline, the strong pivot from dentistry to engineering. But later on, when I was in a bioinformatics class, it was the same master's program. That's when I came up with suboral, which is the dental plaque diagnostic to replace stool sampling. And then a few months after that, I actually found a way to combine the two projects. And this is something that I hope to achieve in my career, is that we could achieve what's called a cross-species analysis. So I would like it for when we go to the grocery store, for you to be able to scan a QR barcode on the meat package itself. And this would be able to tell you, kind of the bioinformatic profile of the cow and whether it was healthy or not before you actually consume it. And using your suboral profile, which is a microbiome analysis, you would be able to combine the two bioinformatic profiles, and you would be able to determine how the health of the animal is going to impact your own health in real time. And so that is my lifetime achievement that I'm pursuing right now.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, I think that we as individuals are so unique and individual from each other. Some people need more calcium in their diet than others, and some people need more fats than others. And so being able to kind of, if I'm understanding correctly, see a piece of, steak on the grocery shelf and, one had more calcium in it than another piece, and you will want that one versus another person who might not need as much in their diet. Is that kind of the overall arching goal?
Yeah, so our health really stems from three really important factors: your immune system, your hormones, and your microbiome. And so my goal is to help diversify the microbiome so that it is preventing and even reversing chronic inflammation and disease. So any way that we can eat food to have a more diverse microbiome to be more resilient to illnesses, that is what I'm trying to optimize. And so based on your nutrition, you can really, enhance those microbes to function optimally within your body so that you are going to be, functioning and living an improved quality of life that, we're all seeking that, and so we can use computer engineering to actually design our diets to have more customized microbiomes, that are going to work synergistically with within our own human body.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really critical component in all of our overall well-being. Pivoting a little bit here, obviously this is like a very kind of new-esque area. You're combining a lot of different areas of different scientific research to create this product in your company. So could you tell me a little bit about like some of your biggest challenges you've encountered so far as a startup founder? And if you have overcome them, a little bit about how you might have done that.
I was pretty blessed a few years ago to have pivoted very significantly. So I was actually working with another company out in India called Leucine Rich Bio, and they were doing great, remarkable work. But we just were never able to raise funding to conduct any sponsored research, and so I almost thought about hanging up the company itself. But I decided to reach out to my advisor now, who is now my bioinformatics partner, Dr. Nur Hassan. And so he had strongly encouraged me to continue working down, the dental bioinformatics route and the acquisition of of some of my advisors I have been working with in the past, and also the new ones. They all just continue to encourage me to keep working at it. So not raising funding was very difficult at the time, but it would have been more difficult working with a company that I probably would have had a lot of stakehold in Crown Biome, with without actually putting in their own money. So at least this way I own more of my company now, and it actually is working out better because my partners are so supportive, and honestly they are the best in the world at what they do. And so we have, kind of formed together a super team to put together novel strategies. I spoke a little bit about suboral, which is the dental plaque diagnostic for chronic illnesses. So Crown Biome was able to work with the Small Business and Technology Development Center of North Carolina this summer. And so within the summer internship cohort, I was actually able to mentor a university student from Charlotte. And so, being able to train him, being able to teach him about customer discovery, we discovered an aha moment within dental implant monitoring, and that was that dentists were liable for rework costs of dental implants. And so within the dental industry, this is a significant critical need that really needs to be addressed. And so even though my hopes and aspirations are for suboral, the critical need of the industry is actually for dental implant monitoring. And so I'm having to right now pivot into, what I thought was, suboral being my company's identity, to Crown Biome being more than just a one-stop shop. We are doing bioinformatics for both chronic illnesses and dental implants. And we're hoping to really expound upon our product portfolio as we continue with, customer discovery, along with other technology feasibility studies and research.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes interesting, like where those weird pivot moments come, and those aha moments. They're not always where you expect them to be. Um, Overall, like, have you had any mentors who have really helped you along the way or inspired you in this journey?
I've had the best people working with me. I mean, like for me, I would say like even though people may see me as someone that has a lot of education and experience, everybody that I work with, I feel like is a lot smarter than me. And so I feel like, I've been able to pull a lot of talented individuals together. And so, my advisors, I would say, I have six of them. They are the most incredible people I've ever met, and they're the best in the industry. So like Dr. Nur Hassan, he is one of the leading providers of bioinformatics. Dr. William Jackson at Teledentics, he's really a pioneer in teledentistry. Scott DeRossi, he was the founding dean of High Point University, and he was actually the former dean of Chapel Hill when I first discovered the test. And so he's been with me since like the very beginning, even though I had no idea that we would eventually merge into the same space of dental medical integration. And so we are really pioneering the next level of where data integration is going to be involved within the integrative EHR systems. And this is becoming where AI is going to optimize these telehealth capabilities, and that is going to really enhance the way that we are treating diseases, diagnosing them, and really providing a foothold in like ways that we can reduce health disparities.
That's interesting. It's always interesting to look back and say, oh, I interacted with this person, so many years ago, and now here we are building this business together. It's funny how the world works like that sometimes. But what advice would you give for aspiring entrepreneurs and future startup founders based on your experiences thus far?
Know your customers, and that means ask them questions and be ready to learn. I When I first started, I have to admit I had my preconceived thoughts of like what I thought products would be, and because I listened, I actually learned how wrong I was. I was able to learn from it. I wouldn't even call them mistakes. I just wanted to learn what customers actually wanted. And so when Suboral really found its place with the integration of telehealth capabilities. Most companies in my space are providing, these microbiome analysis reports directly to the consumers, but there are no companies that are integrated within these integrative EHR systems. And so when I was, inspired by my advisor, like, oh, we can integrate this within the API of our electronic health record, it really woke in my eyes to what the possibilities are of doing something like that. And so we would be the most efficient company at collecting bioinformatic data than even Illumina or Biome. And so to think that we could be competitive against, very large companies that could easily outcompete us with financing because we have a better business model, that's something that we can outcompete that. And so really listening to what your customers are saying and listen for that low hanging fruit of like what is that major pain point. That is something that if you can solve a problem, if you can solve someone's pain, they will purchase it. And so that's something that I've really had to figure out how to do, and working with the Innovation Commercialization Assistance Program, the National Science Foundation, I-Corps, RIoT, the SBTDC. These are great innovation hubs that will help you and mentor you into learning this customer discovery process so that you can come to that critical component of like what your customers are asking for and how your technology can actually solve that problem.
Knowing your customers is very key to any good startup and entrepreneur. Uh, well, that's all the questions that we have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it and hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jen, and thank you so much, Riot.